Part 3 is the very next section, holograms. So, I don't think this paper does a very good job of explaining what a hologram is. It's kind of confusing and they use an example that isn't that good. Also, it was written in the 80s and we do have a lot more knowledge now. So let's just talk about that first sentence and then I'll dive into a better explanation. I don't like the rest. So, energy creates, stores, and retrieves meaning in the universe by projecting or expanding at certain frequencies in a three-dimensional mode that creates a living pattern called a hologram. Whoa. It's already saying that the universe is a hologram and life is a hologram. But I want to dive into a couple specific things about holograms that I think the paper tries to point out, but it doesn't explain very well. So I'm not going to use the paper, but obviously you can read it yourself. So the first thing is that coherent light creates holograms. Coherent light is laser light. It is when all of the light is the same frequency and amplitude inside of the laser. And the way a hologram works scientifically is basically like, okay, so coming out of that laser is coherent light. That means it's the same frequency, same amplitude, same light waves coming out of that laser beam, and then it splits off somehow. And you can see some of the light goes this way and some goes this way. It hits the different mirrors, and then, let me move my big old head, it comes to form this hologram right here. So the holographic image you see is simply two beams of the same exact light that split off and then recombined. So the hologram is actually the difference. It is perceiving the difference between how the two otherwise identical light beams traveled. Make sense? Just the words coherence, laser, like we talked about in part 1. Second important thing is that each part encompasses the whole. So if you had a glass holograph and smash it on the floor, each tiny shard of glass would picture the whole glass. Each little piece encodes the entire whole. It also states that the key to creating any hologram is that it must be about energy in motion interacting with energy at rest. The coherent light source must pass through the interference created by energy in motion reacting with energy at rest. If you need a visual of what that kind of means, it means this background, my wall, is at rest and I'm energy in motion, so you can perceive that motion. Whereas, like, the earth is spinning right now, but since me and the wall and we're all spinning at the same speed, you can't, like, perceive a difference in what we're doing. So the coherent light source, the laser, has to pass through, like, two different things so you can perceive a difference. Note that the paper makes is on efficiency, that billions of bits of information can be stored in a tiny space. Yeah, for part 4, where things get crazy.